Hello and welcome to the Maths Foundation Tier Paper 1 May 2023 Edexcel exam walkthrough. Let's get started. So question 1, we need to write 38% as a decimal. So to change a percentage to a decimal, all you need to do is divide by 100, and 38 divided by 100 is 0.38. Question 2. What fraction of this shape is shaded? So we have 1, 2, 3 sections shaded, and in total we have 10 sections, so 3 shaded out of 10 sections. Question 3. Here is a list of numbers. From the list, write down the smallest number. The only number on here that is less than 1 is 0.5, so that would be the smallest number. And question 4, work out minus 9 plus 5, which is the same as 5 minus 9, which would just be minus 4. Question 5. Solve p minus 2 equals 3. All we have to do here is add 2 to each side of this equation to get p on its own. So we're going to have p minus 2 plus 2 equals 3 plus 2. So we're going to have p equals 5. Question number 6. Freddie adds labels to this diagram of a circle. Explain why one of the labels is wrong. So he has got the center of the circle as the center of the circle, so that is a correct label. He has got the circumference labeled as the circumference of the circle, so that is correct. Then he has the diameter labeled as half of the distance from one side of the circle to the other. The diameter should be the full distance. What he has labeled is the radius. So explaining why it's wrong, Freddie has labeled we'll change how I'm writing this. Freddie has labeled the radius as the diameter. I'll move on. Question 7. Write down 3 different factors of 20. So the factors of 20 are just numbers that make up 20. So we have 1 times 20, 2 times 10, and 4 times 5. So the factors would be 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, and 20. The question only needs 3 of them. We're going to go for 2, 4, and 5. Question 8. Work out the size of the angle marked X. So we're going to know that the total angle in a circle will be 360 degrees. And we are told that this bit here is 50 and X is the remaining amount of the circle. So we're going to say X is going to be the 360 degrees minus 50, which is just 310. A student says that the angle of 50 degrees is an obtuse angle. The student is wrong. Explain why. So, angles smaller than 90 degrees are acute, not obtuse. Obtuse angles are 90 degrees to 180 degrees. Right, question 9. Write down the coordinates of point B. So when we're writing coordinates, it just needs to be the x coordinate on the left and then the y coordinate on the right. So we'll just have a look at point B here. So we've got 5 here and 2 here. So the coordinates are 5, 2. Point B. Plot the point with coordinates 4, -2. Label this point C. So similarly, we'll go to 4, go to -2, and we will label this here point C. Part C. Write down the coordinates of the midpoint of AB. The way I would work out the midpoint would be just to look at how A and B are spaced apart in the x-axis and the y-axis. So if we look at the y-axis first, we know that A is 4 and B is 2. So we need the midpoint of those two, which will of course be 3. And then for completion, we will look at the same for the x-axis, so -3 and 5. The midpoint of these two would be 1, meaning the midpoint would be 1, 3. You could have just used the 3 from the y-axis and looked across to the line to see where it met up with AB. So our answer is 1, 3. Part D, draw the line with equation y equals -4. That is just going to be all of the points that have y as -4. So 0 -4, 1 -4, 2 -4, 3 -4, and so on. And that is your line, y equals -4. Question 10. Max sees this special offer in a shop. Buy one large plate and get one small plate for half the normal price. Then we have the normal prices. Max wants to buy 6 large plates and 6 small plates using this offer. He has £15. Does he have enough money? You must show how you get your answer. So, if we're saying buy one large, get one small, half price. So it stands to reason that you can buy 6 large, get 6 small, half price. So if we write that as 6L plus 6S over 2, as it would be half price, and we know that L is 2 and S is 0.8 for ATP. Scroll down a little. So we'll say 6 times 2, as L was 2, and 6 times ATP over 2. That equals 12 plus £4.80 over 2, which is 12 plus £2.40, which is £14.40. The question was asking, does Max have enough money when he has £15? Yes, Max has enough money. As the plates only cost £14.40. Question 11. A total of 700 tickets were on sale for a football match. 452 of the tickets were sold. How many of the tickets were not sold? So whenever it's a big subtraction like this, I would do 700 minus 452 is going to be the same as 700 minus 400 minus 50 minus 2, which is just 300 minus 50 minus 2, which is 250 minus 2, which is 248. For a different football match, 297 tickets were sold for $9.50 each, 399 were sold for $19.50 each. Work out an estimate for the total amount of money paid for these tickets. You must show all your working. So 297 is approximately 300 tickets. 399 is approximately 400 tickets. £9.50 is approximately £10. And £19.50 is approximately £20. So all we need to do is 300 times by £10 plus 400 times by £20 for a reasonable estimate. And that will be 3,000 plus 8,000, which comes to 11,000. Part C, is your answer to be an underestimate or an overestimate? This is an overestimate. And this is because we have estimated more tickets than were sold, and we have estimated a higher price. So our total will be higher. Question 12. Here are 6 numbers. Work out the mean. So the mean is just add up all the numbers and divide by how many there are. So 13 plus 5 plus 4 plus 9 plus 3 plus 8, all divided by 6, which is going to be, those two added up at 18, add 4 is 22, add 9 is 31, add 3 is 34, add 8 is 42. 42 divided by, jumping ahead of myself, 42 divided by 6 equals 7. Question 13a, simplify 15a over 3. So 15 and 3 both divide by 3. So what we're going to do is divide the top and the bottom by 3. And that's just going to give us 5a over 1, or just 5a. Part B, simplify 19 plus 5b plus 4c minus 7b plus c. So all we need to do here is group all the letters together. So this is going to be 19 plus b lots of 5 minus 7 plus c lots of 4 plus 1. All I've done there is join the b's and the c's together, and that is going to be 19 minus 2b plus 5c. And part C, factorize 8d minus 6. So all we need to do is find a number that goes into 8 and 6, and the highest number that we can do that with is 2. So we're going to take 2 outside of the bracket, and inside we're going to do 8 divided by 2, which is 4. We'll keep the d there. 6 divided by 2, which is 3. And that is our factorization. Question 14. Last week, 73% of the tickets sold at the cinema were adult tickets. What percentage of the tickets sold were not adult tickets? So that will just be 100% minus 73%, which is 27%. Some people watched a film at the cinema. Number of adults compared to number of children is a ratio of 2 to 5. What fraction of these people were adults? So firstly, we need to add up the two ratios to get the number for the denominator of the fraction. So this is basically saying number of adults to number of children is 2 over 7 adults and 5 out of 7 children. So what fraction of these people were adults? It's just going to be 2 out of 7. On Friday, 500 people watched a film. 70% of these were children. On Saturday, 720 watched the film, and 5/8 of these were children. Kasim thinks more children watched the film on Friday than on Saturday. Is Kasim correct? You must show how you get your answer. So, Kasim thinks more watched the film on Friday than on Saturday. So we're saying 500, we'll start up here, Friday. 500 people, 70% were children. So we need 70% of 500, which is just 350. Saturday, 720 watched the film, And we want 5/8 were children, which is 720 over 8 times 5, which is 90 times 5, which is 450. And Kasim thinks more children watched the film on Friday than on Saturday. He would be wrong. So Kasim is wrong. 450 watched on Saturday, 350 Friday. Moving on. Question 15. Work out 6/7 times 5/12. Give your answer as a fraction in its simplest form. So all we have to do here is multiply the two numerators and the two denominators together, just like that. 6 times 5 is 30. 7 times 12 is 84. Now, they want this in the simplest form, so let's simplify this down. So we will say 30 over 84, and we'll divide the top and the bottom by 2, as these are even numbers. 15 over 42. And 3 will go into 15 and 42, so let's divide the top and the bottom by 3 here. And we have 5 over 14, and 5 is prime, so we cannot simplify any further. Question 16. Here is the list of ingredients for making 20 biscuits. Harry wants to make 60 biscuits. How much flour does Harry need? So all we need to do is multiply everything in this box by 3, as we currently have 20 biscuits here, and we want to make 60. So I'll just write for 60 biscuits, multiply box by 3. So for flour, that will be 250 grams times 3, 750 grams. Right there in the box. Question 17. There are 200 counters in a bag. 38 are red, 52 are blue. The rest are yellow or green. There are the same number of yellow as green. What percentage of the counters in the bag are yellow? So we know 200 counters in the bag are made up of 38 red, 52 blue, plus an unknown number of yellow plus green. So if we subtract the 38 and the 52, we'll be left with just this number x, which is the number of yellow plus green counters. So that will be 110, as 200 take 38 is 162, 162 take 52 will be 110. It's just going to be x. So yellow plus green equals 110. So yellow, as we know the same number of yellow counters as green counters, equals 110 divided by 2, which is 55, but we want the answer in percentages. So what is 55 out of 200 as a percentage? Well, if we divide top and bottom by 2, so that we have a 100 on the bottom, we're actually left with 27.5 over 100, so our answer is 27.5% for 4 marks. Question 18. Naomi has B bags of apples and C crates of apples. There are 5 apples in each bag. There are 28 apples in each crate. Naomi has a total of T apples. Write a formula for T in terms of B and C. So, 1 bag equals 5 apples. 1 crate equals 28 apples. And Naomi has B bags of apples and C crates of apples. So, a bag is going to be 5 So the number of, sorry about that. So the number of total apples is going to be 5 times the number of bags, as of 5 apples in one bag, plus 28 times the number of crates, as there are 28 apples in one crate. So our formula is just going to be simply 5b plus 28c. Here are the first 5 terms of an arithmetic sequence. Find an expression in terms of n for the nth term of this sequence. So the first thing I would do for this is I would see if there is a relationship between each of the numbers additionally or subtractionally. And we can see there is, as we are adding 8 to each number to get from one term to the next. So we know the expression is going to be 8 times n, being the term, plus an additional element. So if we put in term number 1 as n, so we will say if n equals 1, then our sequence is going to be 8 lots of 1 plus x equals minus 5, as minus 5 is our solution. So that's going to be 8 plus x equals minus 5. So x is going to be minus 13 when we take 8 from both sides. Therefore, our sequence is going to be 8n minus 13, and we can check that with the second term. So let's put 2 in. So we'll say 8 lots of 2 minus 13. It's going to be 16 minus 13, which is 3, which matches up here. Question number 20. Work out 8.46 divided by 0.15. So for this one, what I'm going to do is 8.46 divided by 0.15, which is the same as saying 8.46 divided by 15 over 100. And when you divide by a fraction, that is the same as multiplying by the inverse of the fraction. So that will be the same as 8.46 times 100 over 15. 8.46 times 100 is 846 by 15. Then we'll do the bus shelter method over here. 15s into 8 do not go, and we'll carry the 8. 15s into 84 go 5 times, with 9 left over, as 5 15s are 75. 15s into 96 go 6 times, as 15 times 6 is 90. Remainder 6. So our answer is 56 and 6/15. But since the question has been asked in decimals, we're going to convert this to a decimal. So 6 over 15 is the same as saying 2 over 5 if you divide the top and the bottom by 3, which is the same as 0.4. So our answer is 56.4. Question 21. Work out 7 3/8 minus 2 1/2. Give your answer as a mixed number. So what we'll need to do here is make top-heavy fractions and then make a common denominator and then change it back to a mixed number. So 7 3/8 is the same as 56 over 8 plus 3 over 8, as 7 times 8 is 56. That will be 59 over 8. And then our second number, 2 1/2, is going to be the same as 4 over 2 plus 1 over 2, or 5 over 2. Then we need to make these common denominators. And since 2 goes into 8, let's just convert this immediately into 8 by timesing the top and the bottom by 4. So 20 over 8. So we will have 7 3/8 minus 2 1/2 equals 59 over 8 minus 20 over 8, which is 39 over 8. But the question wants it as a mixed number, So how many times does 8 go into 39? The answer is 4, with 7 left over. Let's keep going. Question 22. A cube has a total surface area of 150 centimeters squared. Work out the volume of the cube. So we'll draw a quick cube. Apologies if my drawing is terrible. It's going to be about there. Almost there. There we go. So the surface area of the cube, is going to equal the surface area of all 6 sides of the cube. So if we're saying 150 is for the whole cube, divided by 6 gives us 25 centimeters squared area for one side of the cube. Now, one side of a cube is a square. So if we are doing the area of a square, and we know it's 25 centimeters squared, and we know all sides of the square are the same length, we know each side is going to have to be 5 centimeters. So, therefore, side length equals 5, and the volume of the cube is going to be height times width times depth, which is all 5, as they're all squares. So 125 centimeters cubed is our answer for 4 marks. Question 23. The table shows information about the daily rainfall in a town for 60 days. Draw a frequency polygon for this information. So, all we have to do here is make sure for each of the 5 rows that we are taking the midpoint of the section. So what I mean by that is, for this first one, we know the frequency should be 8 for the 0 to 5 bracket. So instead of taking it at 0 or at 5, we want to take it at the midpoint, just here. And the frequency needs to be 8, so we have 10 squares between 0 and 10, so we know each square is going to be 1 frequency. So we'll just count back from 10 that the first point needs to go just there. The next one, take the midpoint, 24, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Next one, take the midpoint, 13, go from 10, 1, 2, 3, 13. Next one, take the midpoint, 11, just the one above 10, and then 20 to 25, take the midpoint, the one below 5 for 4. And we'll just draw a nice frequency polygon just there. And we'll move on. Question 24. Complete the Venn diagram for this information. For the set, the numbers 1 to 10, A is the odd numbers, B is the square numbers. So before I start drawing on the Venn diagram, I'm just going to write down the odd numbers. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Write down the square numbers, which is just the numbers that are a product of the number itself. So 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16, which is bigger than the set that we've got. So the numbers that are odd numbers and square numbers would be 1 and 9. So we know they're going to sit in the middle of our diagram. Then 3, 5, and 7 are going to sit in box circle A. And 4 is going to sit in circle B. And then everything else will sit on the outside. So that will just be 2. We've got 3, we've got 4, we've got 5, 6, we've got 7, 8, we've got 9, and 10. A number is chosen at random from the universal set. Find the probability that this is in set B dash. So B dash would just be not in B. So I'm going to write that. B dash equals not B. So B is, I'm just going to scroll to the top here, make sure we do this right. There are 3 numbers in B, 1, 4, and 9. So B is 3 out of 10. So B dash is 7 out of 10. Question 25. The scatter graph shows information about the ages and weights of some babies. Describe the relationship between the age and the weight of the babies. Well, as we can see here, as age is increasing, weight is increasing. So if you take like a baby of age 2, the weight is around here. Whereas if the baby is age 10, the weight is around here. So it's clearly going up. So what we're going to do is we're going to write this is a positive correlation down here. Positive correlation as age increases, weight increases. Another baby has a weight of 5.8 kilograms. Using the scatter graph, find an estimate for the age of the baby. So the weight is 5.8 kilograms. What we have to be careful of here, it's 2 kilograms for 10 squares. So that means each square is 0.2. And we want the 5.8 kilograms. So that is going to be up here, this one here. And I'm going to draw a line of best fit before I go any further, just to get a better idea of it. And we're just going to trace across. It's about there. Similarly here, it is 2 for 10 squares, so each square is 0.2. So if we count back from the 4, 3.8, 3.6 months is our estimate. 3.6 months. Question 26. The price of a holiday increases by 20%. This 20% increase adds £240 to the price of the holiday. Work out the price of the holiday before the increase. So we're saying 20% is £240. So 100% is going to be 5 times £240, as 20% times 5 is 100%. And 5 times £240 is just 1,200. Question 27. The diagram shows a solid cylinder on a horizontal floor, and we've got a formula over here for pressure of force over area. The cylinder has a volume of 1200 and a height of 40. The cylinder exerts a force of 90 newtons on the floor. Work out the pressure. So we're going to need pressure, which I'll call P. We're going to need force, and we're going to need area. Luckily, we already have force. So P equals 90 over area. And to get area, we're going to need to do volume equals height times area. So rearrange this to say area equals volume over height. And we have both of these things. So 1200 divided by 40, which equals 30. And I'll just scroll down. So pressure equals 90 over 30, which equals 3. And then hopefully we've got the units. Yes, we do. Newtons per centimetre squared. Question 28. Use these graphs to solve the simultaneous equations 2 minus 2y equals x and 2y equals 3x minus 22. Now what I've noticed here is this is only 1 mark, so this is going to be quite a straightforward answer, so we don't want to start to try and solve anything. We just need to double check that what they've put here are the same as the 2 lines that they've put here, which they are. So solving the simultaneous equations is just wherever these lines cross. So looks to me like each square on the x-axis and the y-axis is 1. So it's just going to be whatever this point is here, which I believe is going to be 6 minus 2. 6 minus 2. Question 29. Work out the value of 4 to the power minus 6 times 4 to the power 9 divided by 4. So if we look at the numerator first, 4 to the minus 6 times 4 to the 9, when you're multiplying powers like this, when the number is the same at the front of the powers, it's just add the powers together. So that is just going to be minus 6 plus 9, which is just 4 to the 3. And we know that we need to put a 4 on the bottom as well. Equals 4 to the 3 over 4, which equals 4 squared, which is 16. Write down the exact value of cos 60. This is just knowledge that you'll need to take into the exam with you. This is a half, which I've written very poorly. Question 31 is the final question on the paper. It's a probability question. The probability tree diagram shows the probabilities that Shayla will work at home or will work at the office on 2 days next week. Work out the probability that Shayla will work at home on Monday and work at the office on Friday. So, Monday, home, 0.2, and Friday, office, 0.3. What we need to do is 0.2 times 0.3, which is 0.06. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully this was helpful. If you've got any questions, drop them in the comments. Thanks a lot.